All right, let's see what's going on here. Here we have a 1963 Oliver 550 tractor. And the problem we're having with it is I was using it in the summer last year. I think it was the spring. Had the blade on it and I was pushing some gravel and stuff around, and the water pump went on it. So I got the water pump out of it. I don't know if you can see that in here. It's missing. And I'm having a bear of a time getting a water pump for it. But I'm getting a closer look here because I found some different variations of a water pump that will fit the engine but doesn't necessarily fit the pulley or the fan. So I'll just give you a few updates on this as we go, and hopefully we can get this thing back together. Alternator's sitting up there on the seat. It'll take a battery and a water pump and some coolant to get this thing going. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so here's the new water pump, and here's my dilemma. So the water pumps, even though the housings look the same, the pulleys are obviously different. So I've done a pretty close comparison of these two housings. They are as close as I think I can ever find. There's maybe just a little bit of difference where the clocking is a little bit different, where this pipe comes out for the coolant hose. But maybe you can see from the end here, it's a little bit higher on the one on the right side, just slightly, but I don't think that's going to have an effect on it if I go to use it. But the pulley, even though they're different, could work, except there's a different distance between here and where the belt is, and here and when the belt is, so that, or I guess it's more so this way. You got a shorter distance here and longer distance here. So the belt is in the wrong spot. So I'm having such a hard time finding a water pump. I'm trying to think of another solution for this problem. The crank pulley can't have anything done with it. But what I can do is this water pump comes with a plate that's missing. Evidently, this one's got it, this one doesn't. There's a plate in the box over here. Right there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this plate off of here and either double it up here or go and get a thicker one to take this water pump out a little bit to make up at least some of the distance here for the belt. And the belt, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think it's a low RPM engine. It's a big enough distance. I think it'll be forgiving enough even if I just put it on. So I think I'm gonna have to give that a try. I'm not gonna send this water pump back. I just want to get on with this project so I can get on to other things once this is finished. And we need to use the tractor, so that's the other thing. So my next step would be to get this plate off and decide how much thicker that this would need to be to space the water pump out from the front of the block far enough to get the water pump belt to line up with the crank pulley. So that's my next dilemma. And stand by to figure that one out. Oh yeah, one more thing here. If you look at the end of this, the next difference we see here is the diameter of the fan blade, where it goes on. Well, the center section is the same, but the bolt pattern is different, right? It's further here than it is here. So I brought the fan blade home with me. Put that back in the box. Don't lose it. And I noticed that the fan blade has two different sets of holes in it. And what I'm hoping, and I have not tried this yet, is that when evidently it fits on here. Where's those bolt holes? There we go. You see those line up. And I'm hoping that these holes will line up with these ones. So let's just take it, move it over here, and see if things are going to work out for me here. Slides right on, and the bolt holes do line up. Okay, so I'm in luck with the fan blade, if you want to say luck. All right, so stand by for the next remedy for the next problem. Okay, let's check out what the biggest problem is here now. So this is the old water pump, new one, and I had talked to you about some of the differences before. And you can see that the fan pulley, now I've got this one sitting flat on the bench. I got the old plate off the back and the seized up bolts out of it. It's about a half a pulley width off. And that's gonna be a little bit tricky to deal with. So I had some ideas here. One, I found some old junk I had around. I thought, well, maybe I could take one of these pulleys I have in this old junk bucket and stack it on there. Well, you can see it's way off. So I can stay in the junk bucket. The other idea I had, which I think I already kind of divulged a little bit, was in the box here. You already get a plate from the back. Well, I took the plate off the other water pump. And let's just do a comparison here, make sure they're identical. There's been a few other things that have not been identical, so I guess it wouldn't surprise me if these weren't quite the same. Air bleed hole, the in and out ports, yeah, they're the same. So I thought, well, what if I stack, oops, sorry, I'm flipping the camera around. What if I stack this up so that I get that little extra? Well, it'd be similar to just having one plate under there, right? Because I'm just adding a little bit. That gets me a little closer, but not quite. I still need to go up. I'm going to say another 1/4 inch. So I think the ideal thing to do would be to go get some 1/4 inch steel and duplicate this in 1/4 inch steel, and you'd have that extra thickness it would take to get this up so that these would line up and it wouldn't throw the belt. As I commented, I've already got the fan blade problem taken care of, and these heights are, this one's shorter, so I won't have to worry about the fan hitting the rad. So next video clip will be probably solving the plate problem. Okay, here's an update on this project, so let's check it out, what we got here. So we have the old water pump next to the new water pump, and if you'll recall, the problem I had was that this water pump was shorter than the other one. So when these two pulleys were lined up, or when they were sitting on the bench, then the pulley was about a 1/2 inch too short and the belt wouldn't line up when it was on there. So what I did was I took the water pump and I made a plate. So this plate matches up with the back of the water pump, bolts to the block, and then the coolant just flows through it, and it ends up with the fan and the pulley in the right spot. So the next step is installing the tractor. Some of you may recognize this green paint. So it's a green Oliver tractor. Well, this green paint was the same paint that was on one of the trucks that the girls drove around, one of the Sonomas. So that is I forget what they call the green, Alpine green metallic, I think. So it's actually a metallic paint. Looks kind of racy, doesn't it? So anyway, maybe we'll give you an update when we're putting on the tractor. All right, so it's time to update you on this project. As you can see, the alternator is on. It was over there on the seat. And let's just get a close up here. We've got, I don't know if you can see it, the new water pump in there. And as you can recall, all the conversations about the spacing. So you can look in there and you can see right there, my flashlight's right on it there. The spacer that I made, the 1/2 inch spacer, is in place so that I've got the belt in reasonably good alignment. If I look down here, you can see it. It's not in bad alignment with the crank, but not perfect either. So I guess the thing is that the alternator and the water pump are on the same plane, if you will, but the crank is maybe another 1/4 inch up. I don't think it's enough to throw the belt, so I think this will run. I got the fan on, and as you can see there, the fan is installed. The old pattern is visible from where the old water pump, but there was holes and it bolted up just fine, so that's on and mounted. So next step on this, put some coolant in it, check it for leaks. Once I do that, I can put a battery in it, and you can see if we can get this old girl running. Hasn't run in over a year at this point. Okay, so this is going to be one of the last installments. We're down to will it start? Hasn't run in a couple years. Actually, pre-COVID was the last time this thing ran. So I'm going to get this stuff away from it. I've already moved some other lawnmowers out, and I'm going to drag it outside, put the coolant in it, and see if it fires up. Okay, so we got things set up here. You should be able to see this thing turning over. So I've got a new water pump in here. I've got coolant full. There's nothing running out the bottom. So I'm actually in a position where I can start this. I put a battery in. Did I mention I had to put a battery in? So I got that done, aired up the tires. We're right at the stage now where we're ready to crank it over. So you can't see me, but I'm up here on the tractor now. Let's sit down. Neutral, clutch in, choke, half throttle, oil buzzer. Woohoo, it's alive. Get ready. Will it start? gotta say, there really was never a doubt in my mind. Climb down off this tractor. There we go. So, got the new water pump in there, fans turning. I don't see anything leaking out. I do see, I don't know if you can see it, fluffs flying around. Evidence that mice were in there, and the fan has now stirred that up. So, there we go. The old girl runs again. Woohoo!